Okay, I'm gonna look over some more charts here real quick. All right, what I have here is the Japanese yen. This goes along with my current everything yen. I'm running a special for $49 for 3 months. This should be tonight. What are we at? I guess tomorrow. I run it through Labor Day, but do these videos on the yen. I think for right now, the yen is done strengthening. I think it's going to weaken, and for in this case, the U.S. dollar versus the yen, I think it'll continue higher. All right. What I have here is U.S. dollar yen. This is a monthly going back to 94.95 when the yen was strong once before. This period here in 2007 and 2012, Japan basically in the 80s and that absorbed a lot of U.S. debt, and so they had capital gains on this. ZERP and NERP worked towards their advantage. Okay. Then there was the supply side of things to try and get inflation in Japan, and Japan has a few things. They should let prices market in Japan if they want to get it, if they want things to adjust. But that's here nor there. Okay, so what I have here is I have a monthly on U.S. dollar yen. What I'm going to do add here is add some quadrant lines first. Okay, and change the color on it. And I'm just going to make them fat for now. Okay. Alright, so you can see it stopped here. Also, let me, I can do, we have Fibonacci also. It's just, I'm just laying down some lines as something to eyeball. Okay. Alright. Okay, so you can see the quadrant lines. Boop. Alright, Fibonacci. Okay, so basically we'll say it pulled back to about a 50% retracement. Okay, now we're getting a bounce on here. Okay, this is the big picture. You could take and say that this is a large sideways in this area. It's basically contained. I guess it also paused back here once before. Okay, so you can see how prices were basically contained except for a couple of outliers here and here. Alright, so we stalled in the quadrant at the 50%. Okay. Now here on a weekly, alright, once again, go back, add in some lines. Okay. So basically we have about 106 here on the weekly, which is this previous high at 107.5, we'll say. Alright. At best it's a sideways trade for here. If there is a movement to come down about 94, and then there's here at 86, I'm not looking at that yet until you have to break 100 again. We've had a pretty good run here. Like we're at a 50% now. If the marketplace decides that we're going to put the yen back in on the carry trade, some currencies are negative, blah 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 out there, but we're just going to assume that this is how it's been and how it will be. Okay, so I expect then the yen to go back through or back up to the 120 area from here. Okay, as you can see up in here, we have the what am I looking for? Oh yeah, that works. Okay, here we have this is believe it's stochastics, or stochastics is here. You're getting a double hook, and then this is the MACD. Okay, so that also on a big picture of basically 9 months. Go back a little bit further, I guess 18 months here of a pullback in the Japanese yen. Okay, so we MACD, and we're getting a double hook here on the stochastics. Okay. Whoops. All right, so this, and then these should be stored in this yen folder here. Go back to a daily. It's holiday weekend, but we also have, I noticed up in here, Sunday night machine orders. Oh, no, that's last. We're looking for the 4th of September. Okay, so we have PMI in Japan, composite, general services, PMI in China, and then on Monday, U.S. markets are closed for Labor Day, but we have PMI for India, PMI for France, PMI for Germany, PMI European and Great Britain, and also the Union again. And then you have a global composite and services. Okay, so which is interesting, of course, because this is basically the big picture economics. Remember, the United States fiscal year ends September 30th. Okay, so basically for tonight and that we're gonna see some raw numbers on purchasing managers index across the globe. So this is one of those things that U.S. markets are closed, but this will be reflected upon in Asia and also in Europe. I don't expect much in the way of, I don't expect 100 pip moves either direction on a lot of these currencies. Somewhat to be subdued. Things will be real quiet after London closes. And then for Tuesday, these are listed here in the AM here, and so things might be quiet in the afternoon. On Monday, okay. And then we go back to, this is on Tuesday here. You have Aussie dollar, which is at a confluence here. I'm kind of leaning on the short side here. I expect commodity prices to continue to come down outside of just seasonal bounces and grains. And list goes on and on again here too for the next few days. So getting back to the yen, okay, on a daily basis, you can see here where the cloud, okay, this is your Ichimoku cloud, okay, it's basically contain the price, 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 okay. So now at best here we're working on a sideways pattern. We'll just say 107, 108 just to swipe the highs here. And on the low side, we'll just use round 100. And then if prices go below 102, then you would really want to take a short side of things. But right now, I don't look too much to come back to Friday's low. Pretty much Friday's low, I think, put in an anchor for now. Okay, for on the low end of things. Okay. So Fridays it came through, swiped 2 days of stops, and worked on Tuesday's close. Okay, and then Friday closed up in here, but I don't expect much more than 40 to 60 area, 103.40, 103.60. Okay. Basically, we're stalled at 50% here, so for right now, I expect winter's here. I expect basically just a pause here with overhead, okay? And another thing I want to look at here too on these is that getting outside of futures, this is an equity here, or yen trust here, okay? Now, what you have going on here is this one also shows volume. Okay, and what I like to use it is because it has volume. You can, it's 225 on a daily basis here for volume. Okay, quote unquote, it's thin, but it gives you volume, and it's also arb related too. Just like how you can buy VIX futures and then sell the VIX derivatives. Okay, same principle here. You can get your fingers on the currency or the future, and you can buy or sell the currency and arb it that way. But what I like about it is it gives me some volume. It just gives me a taste or a flavor ahead of time too. Also with commitment to traders report, as I see here, unbalanced volume back in December. Okay, oversold and it continued higher. Okay, a lot of bodies in here, unbalanced volume on the top. If we do get a bounce here, I don't expect it to go over 94.5 just by just eyeballing the pattern, kind of move up. Okay, kind of move up, and then basically come back down. Okay, so we'll say 94.5 to about what is that, about 87.5 or so. I'm just doing a quick eyeball on this. Okay, it's 10% drop is fine on the currency, or on that the stock price here, and then do a little of this action, which gets, it's roughly about right. I'm just trying to see here. So here's a 50% drop, which also includes this area here. Wonder if this works like this. It does. Okay. Now what that is that's a point of control. This is volume. So there was a lot of volume interest in this area. Price has memory, as they say. So here you can see down here there was a lot of accumulation. All right, large amounts, some sideways trade here. Folks got out, and then basically I look at this as your distribution type deal for now. Okay, and so that's how I basically look at it for now. So price will, if there is a bounce, price will come up to about 94, we'll say, and then come back down here. And you just draw a basic trend line on here. Save this real quick. And getting off of that one, then I want to go down to point and figure, including the same stuff again. Okay, so on a point and figure, now what this is this is one chart form. At the time when I got into became a branch manager in '90, candlesticks were just coming through. Okay, what? 390 years later, Americans picked up on the candlesticks. Okay. So, but point and figure is what I came across. It was Cohen's book, and I like to use more of a percentage move on here, besides your traditional. Okay, now what that does is here I have 500, 0.5% move. All right. Okay, so you have your volume up in here, your points of control. If there was interest in the price, it's only a couple of bucks, but it's just for reference. This is your overhead resistance line. But what it is it just shows the price. We trade price, but not as we don't trade time unless you're an options player. Okay, so what it is every time one of these numbers are hit over here, it gets an O on the downside or X on the upside. And basically, what I find is it makes things easier. As you can see, just draw a trend line across here. It jabbed through it, came back, and then came back through, and that was it. So this is like a neckline of like a head and shoulders pattern. Okay, down, 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 down. Okay, so now this is just 40 years of looking at charts. All right, 93.73 is basically an area it needs to clear volume-wise. It has to take up that overhead supply there. This pattern here, I expect it to come back up and through here. We're only talking, what, 30, 40 cents. Okay, do I have it? 1 minute. All right, let me change this to an hourly and see how this looks. All right. Okay, so we had the 50% here. Okay, so I think there's a pause here and then a move back up into this area. It's just a couple of bucks. But what I just wanted to point out is that you can get the volume over on the side here of where there might be areas of resistance. And I'll switch over to more of the normal. Okay, so here you can see where we at. Okay, so there's a movement up. All right, trend line, it broke your trend line, so you're out of there at about 110. Okay, now price came back up to this area, which is this is going to be resistance. It's working on a pattern here. The chart service does give you, objectives and things of that nature. It's a coin flip, of course. Of course, it's either yes or no. As you can see here at 100, the old round number, we have overhead supply, and here you have some at 95. So here we are at 95-ish, right? So 92, 93. Okay, so if assume that this breaks through 96, okay, then it should continue on to 100. So it's $4. All right. But I just wanted to show this for some of those of you that might only be using tick charts on your Forex. Getting volume is difficult, of course. I like to use either this or use the futures also, because of when you have those opportunities of like these currency trusts here, or the ticks of the cash market, or you can find like forward contracts and things of that nature, or the futures. Okay, and that gives me an idea for volume, because I want to see how many people are there. Like here, when the price broke below the neckline and came crashing down, you had a lot of volume here. A lot of people got out of it. Okay, and I think that's it for the yen that I'm going to show for right now. Actually, let's just run through some of these. Okay, so these did come through. So once again on the yen, what do we have here? 97, 92, 5, 7. So 7.5 or so here. It's a pivot area on here. 108.25. Okay. But then we saw in the daily on that that it's coming into the cloud. Okay, here's just your basic daily again on a 50 and a 200 moving average. You can change them to 40 and 150. You can change them to whatever you want. Okay, so at best for right now, just my gut instinct is that this is going to move higher. Okay, for right now. At worst, it's basically just going to end up at a sideways here at 107, 108. Okay, for right now, I'm playing any type of pullback. I would add to some longs on here. When it comes time, when this dips below, I guess we can take a peek here. Alright, so this is what I have set up on my MT4, I think this one is. Running on a Mac, you can hear the fan. Oh boy. So this is the British pound and the pound dollar yen. Okay, like I said, I believe that the bottom in the pound is in for now, and the top in the yen on the pullback is in for now. Okay, so I really want to play pound yen because of the commitment of traders, and I posted some links to that on Saturday. over here, since I'm in Asia, I have Aussie yen and British pound yen and New Zealand yen here too. Okay. I think, what account is this? Okay, so this is the test account. All right. So here I have a monthly. Now I walk it out. I say that this is the 50%. Basically, these are just Fibonacci lines, and it's just stuff in there here. So this is my test account. I test it out with dimes. Yes, test it out with dimes. Just like in Vegas. Well, I'll test that out with a dime. All right. I mean, hey, light it on fire. Okay, so this gives me an idea here. All right, so just looking at some of this with the numbers that I had, 107.80, so you could set an alarm there. 106, 105, okay, 100. So this is basically our range, right? Okay. So if I just kind of eyeball this, maybe 1, 2, this is a 3, ABC 4, 5. Maybe somewhere up in here. Maybe we don't get to past 108. I'll play it right now from like 104 to 108, 108 to 112, that kind of thing. I'll do that with S&Ps, the minis. I'll do it with in 20-point increments when vol picks up. 2200 to 2220, 2220, 2240, that kind of thing. And I usually use a 4-point stop. It's mostly a soft stop because I be hedged. So any way it really goes, I don't get too jammed up. Okay. Because we're working with leverage here, right? So I mean, you're sitting here with 10 to 1, 20 to 1, 30 to 1, 40 to 1, 50 to 1. It doesn't take much, so you can keep it pretty neutral. All right, so that's a weekly. Okay, and we have a daily. Okay, the thing here is there's a 1, 2, 3 pattern set up here. I'll post a link to this with the video. 1, 2, 3 pattern. All right, and then a 4-hour. Okay, so here's how I'm looking at it with a 4-hour. This is coming off the bottom down here. This is when I got all giddy and said, hey, rock and roll, people. Put something together, everything yen. And of course it took off running here. Okay, so now how I'm playing this is I want to get, and you can see the green lines here, buy. I'll take anything. If I'm sleeping, or like I said, this is the old 10-cent tested out deal. So if the US yen comes back into this area, where we have here, basically 101.5 to 102. I'll try it again. I picked up 102.89, I think, on Friday, and I got out here because I'd rather support down in here. Okay, we cleaned out the stops down here. You can see on this bar, cleaned out the stops, ran it up through the stops on the upper side. I just thought that they probably gave it back because it was a pretty good move. When you have 400 pips basically in a week, that's a 200% ROR or ROE. So return on equity, at 50 to 1. I think the Dodo Bird account was at 40 to 1. I'll have to go take a look at that. Okay, here's an hourly. So going back over it again on what we have. Here was, I think I posted on the 24th down here, 122, I think it was. I said to get long this thing, and I think it's going to go higher. Okay. It took off running, had its pullback. This is an hourly, and it showed you that on clearing of the new high, you buy again, you add to your position, you add in the trend, okay, and then move your stop from here to here. And then came up and it paused again. You could do the same thing, put a buy order above it, prices come through, then you move your stop up, however you want, how close, how tight you want to have it, because you're looking at some of these stops are under 20 points. Okay, they'll widen the spreads on you. All right, came through, then we cleared we got up to 104, then we had a hard sell-off. Okay, All right, this is on Thursday's data. We had a hard sell-off, but we did not go below the low here. So that still held hopes for the bulls. We shifted around a little bit. It traded up about halfway or so. Then came back through, actually cleared out the stops. If somebody was moving and running stop and moving their stop up, they were taken out. So all of a sudden the dealers were picked up a whole bunch of US yen under 103. Now they have to get rid of it. Now they sucked it all up and they ran it the other way and caught all the, we'll just say, the shorts. So you go from, you know, they bust you out at, you get pinched at 103. Okay, then they run it against you. You're angry. I don't know if you would have chased then. Then you have the flip side where you have fresh shorts. Somebody sees this, they'll probably short up in here. I mean, I would have. I've done it in the past. Short up in here, comes through. Not too many people are probably going to have a take profit or a trailer on here. Okay, that's just it's just the overconfidence of the players here, right? Okay, comes back. They short it. Okay, you see this. You're like, okay, I want to short it. Everyone's talking about going below. You know, going to 90, whatever. Comes back through. They're confident. They're, you know, they probably have, you know, another sell down in here, right? Move your stop to here. Comes back through. So all of a sudden now you have all the dealers that caught the people below 103. They're now selling it over 104. You have all the shorts that have to buy, and so you have all the dealers selling. You have all the shorts buying. Okay, so who's left to buy, right? Okay, so then all of a sudden it should just trickle down overnight. Where are we at? 103. Yeah, I guess it should be. What I'm looking for here is as it trickles lower. But I do figure it's going to probably, it's one of those things, right? Do I have to put one? I'll put one up in here, right? Oh, how come I don't have a buy over here? Where am I at? Okay, I need a buy. All right, not a sell. Okay, so I need a buy up in this area here at the previous high. We'll say, oh, what's this here? 103.19. Okay. All right. So just because one of those things that if it does come back through, get you back in. All right. Because that's right now, that's what the trend's looking like. I'd be more than happy to buy some down in here. I do have it staggered. Tick, 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 tick. You know, whatever. You know, buy. One of those things. I don't assume that this thing's going to drop 200 pips overnight, okay, but just in case it is, to get an opportunity, okay. But I just think it's just gonna fall asleep kind of thing until that Japanese PMI here in about 20 minutes. And let's see here. And then you have the 30-minute. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, just basically, I just think it's just going to, you know, come down. 103.50, I guess, just set an alarm for now. And then 103.12, 10 or 12, you know, whatever down here for an alarm. If you guys are up, kind of thing. The sun is setting here. It's 5 o'clock, so Kevin will be going to Snoozy Land. Kevin's new world famous sleeping pattern is dun, da, 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 sunset till midnight. Oh boy! And then I get up, 2 hours early for London. Since I'm doing this yen thing, we have it for London and America. And right now we're doing Asia in about 20 minutes. So I think that's it for now. I'm going to let you go, and I'll post this. And what was it that I was going to show on the yen? You didn't write it down, did you, Kev? Bad, Kevin, bad. All right, adios. Oh, yeah, what day? The 4th. Eastern? No, Western time, yeah. Uh-oh, he's getting tired.